The deep silence of space was broken by the soft hum of the patrol ship Blue Star's engines. Captain James Walker stood at the bridge window, his eyes fixed on the endless darkness ahead. His ship had been patrolling the outer edges of human space for 3 months now, and every day felt the same as the last. But today was different. Today, something caught his attention. "Captain, we're picking up an unusual reading," said Kate Miller, the ship's engineering officer. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing control panel. "It's faint, but it's definitely there." Walker walked over to her station, his boots making soft thuds against the metal floor. "What kind of reading?" "Metal. A lot of it. But the signature is strange." Kate's forehead wrinkled as she studied the readings. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Walker nodded slowly. After 15 years in space, he had learned to trust Kate's instincts. "How far?" "About 2 hours at standard speed, sir. It's just sitting there, not moving." "Plot a course," Walker ordered. He pressed the ship's comm button. "Tom, get up to the bridge. We might have something interesting." Tom Reed, the chief science officer, arrived a few minutes later, looking like he had just woken up. His gray hair was messy, but his eyes were sharp and alert. "What have we got?" As Kate explained the readings, Walker watched the stars through the window. Something about this felt different from their usual patrols. The outer colonies weren't supposed to have any ships this far out. Pirates rarely ventured this deep into empty space. Whatever they were approaching, it wasn't supposed to be here. 2 hours passed slowly. The crew grew more tense with each passing minute. Finally, Kate's instruments began beeping rapidly. "Visual range in 30 seconds, she announced. Walker leaned forward in his chair, put it on the main screen. The large screen at the front of the bridge flickered to life. At first, there was nothing but stars. Then they saw it. "That's impossible," Tom whispered. Floating silently in space was a ship, but not just any ship. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Blue Star. Its hull was dark, almost black, with strange patterns that seemed to shift and move in the starlight. The design was like nothing Walker had ever seen before, smooth in some places, angular in others, with sections that appeared to fold into themselves in ways that didn't make sense. "Are you getting any power readings?" Walker asked. Kate shook her head. "No, yes. Wait." She frowned at her screen. "The readings keep changing. It's like the ship is breathing." "Life signs?" "None that I can detect," Tom replied, now fully awake and working at his own station. "But these readings, Captain, according to my initial scans, this ship is old. Really old." "How old?" "At least 300 years. Walker felt a chill run down his spine. That was impossible. Humans had only achieved faster than light travel 60 years ago. There couldn't be a ship this advanced from 300 years in the past. "Sir," Kate called out, her voice tense. "I'm detecting something else. The hull, it's made of some kind of alloy I've never seen before. It seems to be absorbing our scan signals and redirecting them." Walker made a decision. "Bring us in closer. Standard approach pattern. Alert security to prepare a boarding team." As the Blue Star moved closer, more details of the mysterious ship became visible. There were no visible weapons, but something about the vessel's design suggested power. The hull wasn't just dark, it seemed to swallow the light around it. And those strange patterns, they were definitely moving, like ripples in a pond. "I found something," Tom announced. "There's an airlock on the port side, still sealed, and—" He paused, double-checking his readings. "There's air inside the ship, old but breathable." Walker stood up. "Kate, you're with me. Tom, keep monitoring from here. If anything changes, anything at all, I want to know immediately." The boarding team assembled quickly. Walker looked at the 6 people in front of him. Kate, 2 security officers, a medical officer, and 2 engineers. All of them were experienced spacefarers. All of them looked nervous. They crossed the gap between the ships in a small shuttle. Up close, the mysterious vessel was even more impressive. The hull seemed to react to their presence, the patterns moving more quickly as they approached. The airlock was surprisingly easy to open. It recognized standard human protocols, which only added to the mystery. As they stepped inside, their helmet lights illuminated a corridor that stretched into darkness. "Power's minimal," Kate reported, checking her handheld scanner. "But something's still running in here. Some kind of background system." They moved deeper into the ship. Everything was clean. No dust, no debris, like the ship had been preserved in perfect condition. The corridors were wide, with strange markings on the walls that reminded Walker of circuit boards. Then they found the bridge. It was massive, with a ceiling that arched high above them. Instead of traditional control panels, there were platforms that rose from the floor, each covered in what looked like liquid metal that had frozen in mid-flow. "This is advanced," Kate whispered, her voice filled with awe. "Way too advanced for 300 years ago. Way too advanced for now." Walker approached what appeared to be the central platform. As he got closer, the liquid metal began to move. Patterns of light raced through it, and the air filled with a soft humming sound. "Captain," one of the security officers called out nervously, "maybe we should." Before he could finish, every surface in the bridge came to life. Light poured from the walls, and the liquid metal platforms began to shift and reform. A voice filled the room, neither male nor female, neither young nor old. "Human presence detected. Initiating awakening protocols. Guardian system online." Walker and his team stood frozen as the ship that shouldn't exist began to wake up around them. The bridge lights pulsed with a soft blue glow as Guardian's voice echoed through the chamber. Kate Miller's hand tightened on her scanner as streams of data began flowing across its screen. The security officers raised their weapons instinctively, but Walker held up his hand, signaling them to wait. "I am Captain James Walker of the patrol ship Blue Star," he announced, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "We're here on a peaceful mission of exploration." The liquid metal on the central platform swirled and rose, forming shapes that looked almost like holographic displays. "Welcome, Captain Walker. This vessel has waited 342 years, 5 months, and 17 days for suitable human contact." Tom's voice crackled over the radio from the Blue Star. "Captain, the ship's power readings are climbing. Whatever was sleeping in there is definitely awake now." Walker stepped closer to the central platform. "Guardian, you said you were waiting. Waiting for what?" "For humanity to advance sufficiently to understand what we offer." The liquid metal displays showed images of Earth, then various space battles, then complex mathematical formulas that made Kate gasp. This vessel was created by the Phoenix Initiative, a secret organization that operated on Earth during the late 21st century. Kate moved to one of the smaller platforms, her scanner working overtime. "That's impossible. We barely had space stations back then." "Correct, Engineering Officer Miller. The Phoenix Initiative discovered something they were not meant to find." The displays shifted, showing strange geometric shapes that seemed to bend in impossible ways. They found the remains of 3 different alien vessels that had crashed on Earth over the centuries. Each contained different technologies, different approaches to physics and space travel. The initiative combined these technologies with human innovation. One of the security officers, John, whistled softly. "They built this ship from alien tech. Why haven't we ever heard of them?" The liquid metal rippled. The initiative knew humanity wasn't ready. Other alien species were watching Earth. If they discovered that humans had access to advanced technology too soon, they would have seen us as a threat. The initiative created this vessel, named it Reckoning, and sent it into deep space to wait. Walker watched as more displays came to life around them. The walls themselves seemed to be turning transparent, giving them a full view of space around the ship. "What makes this ship so special? Allow me to demonstrate." Guardian's voice took on a different tone, almost proud. "Engineering Officer Miller, please approach the second platform on your right." Kate looked at Walker, who nodded. She stepped onto the platform, and suddenly her feet were surrounded by the liquid metal. She started to pull back, but then stopped, her eyes widening. I can feel the ship's systems. It's like they're talking to me. Her hands moved through the air, and displays responded to her movements. Captain, this ship's hull isn't just metal. It's billions of microscopic machines that can change their structure instantly. They can absorb energy, redirect it, or even use it to strengthen the hull. Correct, Guardian confirmed. The Reckoning was built to adapt and evolve. Every weapon fired at it, every scan performed on it, teaches it new ways to defend itself. It learns and grows stronger with each encounter. Tom's voice came over the radio again, more excited now. Captain, you need to see these readings. The ship's quantum processors are unlike anything we've ever built. They're not just fast. They're actually calculating things before they happen. Precognitive computing, Guardian explained. The ship can run billions of combat simulations in seconds, predicting enemy movements and calculating perfect counter strategies. But it requires human intuition to work properly. The Phoenix Initiative believed that technology alone wasn't enough. It needed to be guided by human creativity and determination. Walker looked around the bridge, taking in the incredible technology surrounding them. Why reveal yourself to us now? The displays suddenly shifted, showing various sectors of space. Red dots appeared, moving in formation. Because humanity faces its greatest threat. The Dominion fleet approaches your colonies. Their technology is centuries ahead of current human capabilities, but they have never encountered anything like the Reckoning. Kate was still working with the ship's systems, her face lit with amazement. Captain, these weapon systems, they're beyond anything we've ever imagined. The ship doesn't just fight. It rewrites the rules of combat itself. But we need to learn how to use it, John pointed out. And fast, by the looks of those fleet movements. Walker stood silent for a moment, weighing their options. This ship was a gift from humanity's past, built by people who knew this day would come. But it was also dangerous. Power like this could change everything. Guardian, how long would it take to train a crew to operate this vessel? Basic operations can be learned in 48 hours. Full combat capabilities will require approximately 5 days of intensive training. The liquid metal shifted again, forming what looked like training interfaces. I can begin immediately if you wish. Before Walker could respond, Tom's urgent voice came over the radio. Captain, long-range sensors just picked up something. 3 Dominion scout ships, heading this way. They'll be here in less than 6 hours. Kate looked up from her platform. We can't let them find this ship before we know how to use it. Walker straightened his back, years of command experience helping him make the decision. Guardian, start the training now. We'll split into shifts, half the crew learning while the other half maintains watch. Kate, you focus on the engineering and weapon systems. John, get your security team working on defensive capabilities. And you, Captain Walker, Guardian asked. I need to know everything about this ship's combat potential. Show me what the Reckoning can really do. He turned to his crew. We have 6 hours to learn enough to survive our first fight. The Dominion's about to discover that humanity has some surprises of its own. The liquid metal platforms pulsed with energy as Guardian began the training sequences. Around them, the ancient ship hummed with power, its hull rippling with patterns that seemed eager for the coming battle. Deep in space, where no human ship should have existed, humanity's greatest weapon was finally awakening, and not a moment too soon. Time moved too quickly as the crew rushed to learn the Reckoning systems. Kate's fingers flew across the liquid metal controls, her mind struggling to keep up with the flood of information Guardian was feeding her. The engineering systems were like nothing she had ever seen. They didn't just respond to problems. They solved them before they happened. 4 hours until Dominion scouts arrive. Tom's voice announced over the radio. He had stayed aboard the Blue Star to monitor the enemy's approach. Walker stood at the main control platform, watching tactical displays materialize in the air around him. Guardian was showing him combat scenarios, each one more complex than the last. The ship's quantum processors could predict enemy movements with frightening accuracy. "Guardian," Walker called out, "show me again how the hull responds to energy weapons." The display shifted, showing a simulation of a Dominion blast hitting the ship. The microscopic machines in the hull absorbed the energy, channeled it through the ship's systems, and could even send it back as a counterattack. "The key is timing," Guardian explained. "The hull can't absorb energy indefinitely. You must release it at the perfect moment for maximum effect." John and his security team were learning the defensive systems on the lower deck. They had discovered that the Reckoning could create energy shields unlike anything in the human fleet. The shields didn't just block attacks. They could bend space itself, making incoming fire miss entirely. "Captain," Kate called out, her voice tense with excitement. "I think I found something interesting." Her platform was displaying complex energy patterns. "The ship's power core doesn't just generate energy, it harvests it from space itself. We'll never run out of power, but—" She paused, frowning. "Using too many systems at once puts enormous strain on the hull." 3 hours to contact, Tom updated them. Walker moved to Kate's station. "What kind of strain?" "The hull's microscopic machines can burn out if we push them too hard. We need to be careful how we use the ship's abilities. One wrong move and we could lose whole sections of our defenses." Guardian's voice filled the bridge. "That is correct. The Reckoning is powerful, but not invincible. It requires careful management of its systems to function effectively." Walker nodded, making mental notes. Everything about this ship was a balance. Incredible power that needed to be used with precision and care. Just the kind of weapon humans were good at mastering. 2 hours to contact. The crew worked faster. Kate had managed to link their modern communication systems with the Reckoning's ancient but advanced technology. They could now coordinate with the Blue Star seamlessly. John's team had mastered the basics of the shield controls, though the more advanced features would take days to fully understand. "Captain," Tom's voice was urgent now. "The scouts changed course. They'll be here in 1 hour." Walker looked at his crew. They weren't ready. Not really. But they had learned enough to have a chance. "Guardian, what are our options?" The tactical display expanded, showing their position relative to the approaching Dominion ships. "The scouts are equipped with long-range scanners and energy weapons. Their shields are formidable by your current standards, but primitive compared to the Reckoning's capabilities. Can we hide? The hull can absorb their scanning beams, making us appear as space debris. However, this will alert them that something is wrong. Standard debris does not absorb scans." Kate spoke up from her station. "What if we don't hide? What if we let them see exactly what they're afraid of?" Walker turned to her. "Explain." "The Dominion thinks humanity is primitive, right? So let's show them something impossible. Let's show them a human ship that breaks all their rules about what we should be capable of." Guardian's displays shifted, running simulations of Kate's idea. An interesting strategy. The psychological impact could be significant. 30 minutes to contact. Walker made his decision. "Kate, power up all systems but keep them running at minimum levels. John, have your team ready on the shield controls." Tom moved the Blue Star to a safe distance. He stepped onto the main platform, feeling the liquid metal respond to his presence. "Guardian, show me the most efficient way to take down their shields." The next 20 minutes were a blur of final preparations. The Reckoning's hull rippled with barely contained power. Kate had all engineering systems running perfectly, ready to channel energy wherever they needed it. John's team had practiced their shield timing until they could react almost instantly. Contact in 5 minutes. 3 Dominion scouts, attack formation. Walker watched the tactical display as 3 red dots approached their position. The Dominion ships were sleek and deadly, their hulls gleaming with a metallic purple sheen that marked their advanced technology. They moved with precision, spreading out to surround what they thought was an easy target. "They're scanning us," Kate reported. "Their beams are much stronger than ours. They're trying to burn through our hull." "Let them scan," Walker ordered. "Show them exactly what we are." The Dominion ships suddenly halted their approach. Their formation shifted, weapons coming online as they realized what they were facing. "They're charging weapons," John reported. "High-energy plasma cannons." Walker felt a smile cross his face. "Guardian, let's show them what a real ship can do." "Kate, power to weapons." "John, shields at your discretion. Let's make humanity's first impression count." The Dominion ships fired as one, 3 brilliant beams of plasma streaking through space toward the reckoning. John's team activated the shields, but not in the way the Dominion expected. Instead of trying to block the shots, the shields bent space around them, causing the plasma beams to curve away harmlessly. "Energy absorbed and ready," Kate called out. "Hull is charged to maximum safe levels. Guardian, target their lid ship. Let's return their greeting." The Reckoning's hull pulsed, and all the energy they had absorbed from the scans and plasma fire was released in a single devastating burst. The beam struck the lead Dominion ship's shields and shattered them like glass. The ship itself tumbled backward, its hull scared and its systems failing. The other 2 ships began to turn, preparing to retreat. They had come expecting to find primitive human vessels. Instead, they had found something that should not exist, a human ship with technology that rivaled or surpassed their own. "Should we pursue?" John asked. Walker watched the tactical display, seeing the fear in the Dominion ship's desperate retreat. "No. Let them run. Let them tell their fleet what they found out here. Let them wonder what other impossible ships humanity might have waiting." As the Dominion scouts fled into deep space, Walker looked around at his crew. They were tired but proud. In just a few hours, they had learned enough about this gift from humanity's past to drive off 3 enemy ships. But this was just the beginning. "How long until they return with a larger fleet?" he asked Guardian. "Based on their known behavior patterns, we have approximately 72 hours before they return with capital ships." Walker nodded. "Then we have 72 hours to learn everything else this ship can do." "Kate, John, get your teams ready for the next training session. We've shown them what humanity can do with just a few hours of practice. Let's show them what we can do with 3 days." The next 3 days aboard the Reckoning passed in a blur of intense training and preparation. Kate had barely slept, spending every possible moment learning the ship's complex engineering systems. Her mind felt like it was on fire with new knowledge, but she couldn't stop. Not with what was coming. "The hull can do more than just absorb energy," she explained to Walker as they stood on the bridge. She waved her hand through the liquid metal controls, and a section of the ship's wall became transparent. "Watch this." She sent a command, and the hull's microscopic machines began to shift. The metal rippled like water, then formed complex patterns that seemed to bend light around them. "Stealth mode?" Walker asked, impressed. "Better," Kate grinned. "The hull can create perfect copies of itself. We can make the enemy see multiple ships where there's only one, or make them see nothing when we're right in front of them." On the lower decks, John and his security team had made their own discoveries. They had learned that the shield systems could be used offensively, creating bubbles of warped space that could trap enemy ships or tear them apart. "The quantum processors are the key," John explained during their daily briefing. "They don't just predict where the enemy will be. They show us every possible move they might make. We can counter attacks before they even decide to make them." Tom's voice came over the radio from the Blue Star. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up something big. The Dominion fleet is gathering at their forward base, at least 30 capital ships, maybe more." Walker stood at the main control platform, where Guardian was showing him tactical displays of the coming battle. The liquid metal swirled around his feet as he studied the enemy formations. "They're not just sending ships," Guardian announced. "They're sending their best fleet commander, Admiral Vex. His tactical abilities are considered legendary among the Dominion." "How do you know this?" Walker asked. The Reckoning's quantum processors can intercept and decode their communications. Admiral Vex has never lost a battle. He believes this will be a simple operation to eliminate an unexpected human threat. Kate looked up from her station. He's in for a surprise. Captain, there's something else you should see. She brought up a new display, showing the ship's power core. The sphere of energy at the ship's heart pulsed with colors that shouldn't exist in normal space. The core doesn't just power our systems, it learns from them. Every time we use the ship's abilities, it finds ways to do them better, faster, more efficiently. It's like the ship is evolving with us. 24 hours until the Dominion fleet arrives, Tom reported. Walker gathered his crew on the bridge. They looked tired but determined. 3 days of non-stop training had changed them. They moved differently now, more in sync with the ship's flowing movements. Guardian, Walker called out. Show us everything we know about their fleet. The air filled with holographic ships, each one a detailed model of a Dominion vessel. Their weapons, shield systems, and tactical capabilities were displayed in flowing streams of data. Their capital ships carry quantum-tipped missiles, Guardian explained. A direct hit would disrupt our hull's molecular structure. However, their targeting systems are predictable. The Reckoning can calculate their firing solutions faster than they can execute them. John pointed to the largest enemy ship. That's Vex's command vessel. Correct. The Dominion believes in concentrated command and control. Disrupt their flagship, and the fleet's coordination will suffer. Kate was working at her station, running simulations. Captain, I think I found something. The Dominion ships use quantum communications to coordinate their attacks, but their quantum systems are primitive compared to ours. We might be able to interfere with their signals. Walker watched as she demonstrated, using the Reckoning's advanced processors to scramble test communications. Can they detect the interference? No. That's the beautiful part. As far as they know, their communications are perfect, but we can subtly alter their targeting data, their sensor readings, everything. We can make them see what we want them to see. 12 hours to contact. The crew spent the remaining time running battle drills. Kate fine-tuned the hull's response times, finding ways to absorb and redirect energy more efficiently. John's team practiced complex shield maneuvers, learning to create overlapping fields of warped space that could protect the entire ship while still allowing their weapons to fire. Walker stood at his control platform, watching his crew work. They had learned more in 3 days than most crews learned in years. The Reckoning wasn't just a powerful ship, it was the perfect teaching tool, adapting its systems to match their growing skills. 6 hours to contact. Guardian, Walker called out. Show me Admiral Vex's past battles. I want to understand how he thinks. The displays filled with tactical data, showing dozens of battles. Vex was indeed brilliant, but he had one weakness. He had never lost. He didn't know how to handle defeat, how to adapt when his plans failed. 3 hours. Kate called everyone to the bridge for a final briefing. The hull is at peak efficiency. We've mapped out every power conduit, every possible way to channel energy through the ship's systems. We can't match their numbers, but we can outthink them. 1 hour to contact. The crew took their positions. The Reckoning's hull rippled with barely contained power, its microscopic machines ready to adapt to whatever the enemy threw at them. The quantum processors hummed as they calculated millions of possible battle scenarios. Guardian, Walker said quietly. What are our chances? The Dominion fleet outguns us 30-1. Their weapons can crack planets. Their shields can withstand nuclear explosions. The AI paused. But they have never encountered a ship like this, crewed by humans who learned in days what should take years to master. They expect a primitive vessel playing with stolen technology. Show them instead what humanity can do when pushed to its limits. Contact in 10 minutes. Dominion fleet emerging from faster-than-light travel. Walker looked at his crew one last time. Kate at engineering, her hands dancing through the liquid metal controls. John at tactical, his team ready to bend space itself to protect the ship. Tom watching from the blue star, ready to coordinate their movements. This is what the reckoning was built for, Guardian reminded them. This is why it waited 3 centuries to be found. Humanity's greatest test is about to begin. The space around them lit up as 30 Dominion capital ships appeared, their purple hulls gleaming with deadly purpose. At their center was Admiral Vex's flagship, larger than all the others, its weapons already charging. Walker felt the ship respond to his thoughts through the control platform. "Let's show them what impossible really means," he said. Guardian, battle stations. Kate, power to all systems. John, shields ready. The Reckoning's hull began to glow as it prepared for war. The ship that shouldn't exist was about to face its greatest challenge, crewed by humans who had learned its secrets in 3 short days. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. Admiral Vex's fleet filled the void of space with their massive purple hulls, their weapons charging with enough power to destroy a small moon. The Reckoning floated alone against the 30 capital ships, its dark hull rippling with energy as it prepared for battle. "Enemy fleet is launching fighters," Tom reported from the Blue Star, which had retreated to a safe distance, hundreds of them. Walker stood calm at his control platform as the liquid metal swirled around his feet. "Kate, start the power cycles. John, ready the hull's stealth systems. Let's show them our first trick." The Dominion fighters streaked toward them, their engines leaving purple trails in the darkness. But as they approached, something strange happened. The Reckoning seemed to blur, then split into 3 identical ships. "Energy mirrors holding steady," Kate reported from her station. "The hull is producing perfect copies. They won't know which one is real until it's too late." The fighters split their formation, trying to attack all 3 targets at once. Their weapons fired, filling space with deadly energy beams. But the Reckoning's quantum processors had already calculated their attack patterns. John's team activated the shield systems, bending space itself to redirect the enemy fire harmlessly away. "Dominion command frequency detected," Guardian announced. "Admiral Vex is ordering his capital ships to advance." The massive enemy vessels moved forward, their main guns glowing with building power. Walker watched the tactical display as the quantum processors showed him their likely moves. "Kate, ready the hull absorbers. They're about to hit us with everything they have." The capital ships fired as one, 30 beams of devastating energy lancing out toward the Reckoning and its mirror images. The real ship's hull came alive, its microscopic machines working in perfect harmony to absorb the incoming fire. "Hull charge at maximum," Kate shouted. "We need to release the energy now." Walker's hands moved through the liquid metal controls. "Guardian, calculate maximum damage point. John, drop the mirrors on my mark." He waited as the quantum processors found the perfect target. Now, the mirror images vanished, and the Reckoning released all its stored energy in a single massive burst. The beam struck one of the Dominion capital ships dead center. Its shields shattered instantly, and its hull cracked open like an egg. The mighty vessel split in 2, secondary explosions tearing it apart from within. "First blood to the impossible ship," Guardian commented. But Admiral Vex was not legendary for nothing. His fleet quickly adapted, spreading out in a new formation that would prevent the Reckoning from concentrating its fire effectively. "They're surrounding us," John warned. "Multiple targeting locks detected." Walker smiled. "Kate, show them your new trick." Kate's fingers danced through the controls. The Reckoning's hull began to change, its surface becoming like liquid mirror. When the Dominion ships fired, their beams didn't just miss. They were reflected back, each ship hit by its own weapons. "Their shields are weakening," Guardian reported. But Admiral Vex is launching the quantum-tipped missiles. Dozens of missiles streaked out from the Dominion ships, their warheads designed to tear apart matter at the molecular level. The quantum processors worked frantically, calculating trajectories and possible escape routes. "We can't dodge them all," John said, his hands moving across the shield controls. "We don't need to," Kate replied. Her station was showing new energy patterns forming in the hull. The microscopic machines have adapted to the quantum signatures. They can match the frequency. And she didn't finish her sentence as the first missile struck the reckoning. But instead of destroying the hull, it was absorbed into it. Then another and another. The ship's surface rippled like a pond in a rainstorm as it consumed each missile. Power levels exceeding all previous measurements, Guardian announced. Hull transformation beginning. The reckoning's surface began to change. The absorbed quantum energy was reforming the microscopic machines, making them even more advanced. The ship wasn't just adapting. It was evolving in the middle of battle. By all known laws of physics, this shouldn't be possible, Kate said in awe. The ship is rewriting its own structure. Admiral Vex's voice suddenly boomed across all frequencies. What manner of demon ship is this? Walker keyed the response channel. This is humanity's answer to your invasion. A ship that learns, adapts, and evolves. A ship that turns your own power against you. A ship that shouldn't exist, but does. The Reckoning's new form stabilized, its hull now covered in patterns that seemed to move in 5 dimensions at once. The quantum processors had evolved too, giving them perfect prediction of every enemy movement. All power systems ready, Kate reported. The hull can now generate quantum fields of its own. Time to end this, Walker said. Guardian, calculate a firing solution that will disable their entire fleet simultaneously. Kate, prepare to channel everything we've absorbed. John, drop all shields and give the power to weapons. The Dominion fleet was already trying to retreat, their legendary admiral finally facing something he couldn't overcome. But the Reckoning was faster now, its evolved systems operating at impossible levels. Space itself seemed to bend as the ship released its power. Quantum fields erupted from its hull, spreading out in a web of energy that trapped the Dominion ships in place. Then the main beam fired, not one beam, but 30, the hull splitting the energy perfectly to strike each capital ship at its weakest point. The results were devastating. Shields failed, engines died, and weapons went dark across the entire Dominion fleet. Admiral Vex's mighty armada hung powerless in space, defeated by a single ship that had broken every rule they thought they understood. Enemy fleet is completely disabled, Guardian reported. Their power systems are burnt out. Life support remains functional. Walker opened the communication channel again. Admiral Vex, this is Captain Walker. The next evolution of our weapons will not disable your ships. It will destroy them. Take your fleet and go. Tell your leaders what you found here. Tell them about the ship that shouldn't exist and what it did to your undefeated fleet. There was a long pause before Vex responded, his voice heavy with shock. We withdraw. But know this, human, you have changed everything. The galaxy will hear of this day. Emergency power flickered across the Dominion ships as they slowly turned away. Their retreat was awkward, ungraceful, like wounded animals limping home. They're gone, Tom reported from the Blue Star. Long-range sensors show them entering faster than light. They're running straight back to Dominion space. The bridge crew of the Reckoning finally relaxed. Kate slumped at her station, exhausted but proud. John's team cheered as the tactical displays confirmed their victory. Guardian, Walker called out. What did we just achieve here? The Reckoning has evolved beyond its original design parameters. The Phoenix Initiative believed humanity would need a weapon to defend itself. Instead, you have created something more. A shield that will make any future invader think twice before attacking Earth. Kate looked at her readings in amazement. The changes in the hull, the new quantum abilities, we can teach these to other ships, can't we? We can help humanity advance centuries in just a few years. Walker nodded, looking out at the stars through the ship's liquid metal walls. The Reckoning had been a gift from the past, but its greatest gift wasn't its power. It was the proof that humanity could master any technology, adapt to any challenge, and overcome any odds. The ship that shouldn't exist had just changed the course of human history. And somewhere out there, the Dominion fleet was carrying a message to the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Not anymore.